All right, guys, we're going to go through the Ready book. I am not going through the first 2 pages because this is already in the video that I recorded and sent out to you at the beginning of the week. So please follow along in the next few pages and grab your book because you need to check to see how you are doing, okay? The story that you had to read was called Grandma's Secret by Cat Williams, all right? And we were going to find out what is Grandma's Secret, right? We needed to know that. So you should have read this story independently on your own, okay? If you did not read it, please go ahead and read it. Make sure you complete the close reader habits down here at the bottom. It says, what questions do you have about Grandma and her secret? Underline sentences that tell important details about Grandma's secret. Well, if you read it, then you would have underlined paragraph 2, where it says, one night Grandma brought down a small dust-covered box from the attic, right? Because that's the beginning of her secrets. And then number 6, paragraph 6, where it says, I'm singing on a TV show with my group, The Wildflowers, Grandma said. And a little bit after that, it says, we recorded a song and it played on the radio. It was so popular that we were asked to perform it on TV. Okay, those are the 2 sentences, or 3 sentences that you wanted to underline that tell details about what the secret is, okay? Then you needed to go down here and complete this chart, right? Well, remember, we're talking about questions. Your question words are who, what, when, where, why. They gave you the first one, so this was also very easy. You needed to write it on your own, just one question. The first question says, who are the girls in the picture? So right there we see a picture of girls, and if we read it, we know we could write down from details from here. We can pick, I'm singing on a TV show with my group, The Wildflowers. Oh my gosh, Grandma, that's you. Okay, because that's what's telling you is the picture. So that's the detail from the story. Your answer can be, the girls in the picture are Grandma's singing group, or the girls in the picture are Grandma and the Wildflowers. Okay, you cannot say the girls in the picture are Grandma because there's more than one person. Okay, and in the story, they specifically told you that it is a TV show with my group, The Wildflowers. So that's what you could have written down in the answer part. Another question that you could have given, an example would be, why does Annie's grandmother share the picture? Okay, remember in the story, Annie's grandmother shares a picture with her. Why did she do that? And it's because story detail would be, Annie dreamed of being a famous singer one day, or to be famous one day, right? So that's your detail. That's the very first sentence. Annie dreamed of being a famous singer one day. That would go here. Your answer would be, Grandma wants Annie to know that dreams can come true. Okay, Grandma's dream of being a famous singer or having a famous group did come true for her. She was actually famous right there. All right. That was pretty much it for this. We don't do the talk one. Why? Because we're not in the classroom, so it would be a little bit difficult to do, but it is a question that you want to think about. What is one thing Annie and her grandma have in common, and how do you know that? Well, that would go with this question that I shared with you guys. All right. Why does Annie's grandma share the picture? And it's because Annie also wants to be a famous singer one day, and her grandma was a famous singer one day. And how do we know that? Well, back up a little bit. In paragraph 1, Annie talks about wanting to be a famous singer. And in paragraph 6, Grandma tells her that that's what she was when she was younger, 40 years ago. Okay. For number 3, that's we're going to look at. It says, describe the secret that Grandma had been keeping. Why didn't Annie know about it? Use the space provided on page 84. Well, what was her secret? Her secret was that she didn't know that her grandma was a singer back then, all right? And her grandma had never shown her or told her about it. So that's how come Annie didn't know about it. Grandma never said anything. And what was her secret? That Grandma was a singer in a group called the Wildflowers. It was a very simple 2-3 sentences that you should have written down. The Tariff Greenstreet is the next story that you should have done. This is the guided practice one. This one's kind of easy because I think we've already done it. So it's kind of just going back to make sure that we understand what we're doing. The close reader habit says, why does Frankie hide from his friends and ride home alone? Why? Well, if we go up to number 1, it says, a white dog tied in a yard would bark fiercely. Right here. That should be underlined because we want to underline all the details that answer this question. Why does Frankie hide from his friends and ride home alone? Then we go up to 5. And it says, that dog, he said quietly. 6, he talks about, are you scared of that mutt? All right, these are all details about why he's hiding from his friends and riding home alone, right? So we're gonna continue. Like I said, I think we've already done this, but let's review and let's check it. Okay, why does Frankie cross Greenstreet on his way home? It's C. He is afraid of the dog on the other side, okay? Your details we underlined above, that tells you why. And then part B has to match part A, right? Which two details from the story best support the answer? So these have to match C. He is afraid of the dog on the other side of the street. Now, which two letters did you circle? A, he would climb into a pine tree and wait for his friends to leave. I don't think so. B, on the other side, a white dog tied in a yard would bark fiercely. Hey, didn't we underline that? Absolutely. We definitely did. C, Frankie's friend Mike lived next door to the dog. See, no, because Mike is Frankie's friend, so he wouldn't try to avoid him, right? D, are you scared of that mutt? Didn't we underline that also? Yes, we did. It shows that Mike realizes that Frankie's afraid of the dog, okay? Snowball's noisy, but she's harmless. E, F, and G are incorrect because these are all details that show that Snowball is a friendly dog, okay? Not that he would be afraid. You wouldn't be afraid of a friendly dog. So E, F, and G would not be okay because it says, hiya, Snowball, you loudmouth furball. Snowball sniffed around Frankie's legs and then wandered away. That wouldn't match your answer for part A. Okay, so why doesn't Frankie run away when the dog keeps barking? And it's because what? Didn't they realize that the dog is actually not as mean and scary as his friend thought he was? So that's just something to keep in mind. Let's look at number 3. What are two good things that come from what happens to Frankie? Okay, so we already went through that one. Here we are. Remember, complete sentences. We're having issues on Google Classroom and ReadWorks where you guys are sending me sentences that are incomplete or that they don't make sense. I cannot grade that. And I cannot give you a grade for that. So that means that you're going to have a 0. I need complete sentences, and I know all of you can do it because we've done it in the classroom. Now, back to the Tariff of Greenstreet. What are the two good things? Well, we can say that Frankie knows that he doesn't have to be afraid of Snowball anymore, right? He learned that at the end. That's from the story. He also won't be going home alone anymore, and he'll ride with Mike, right? So everything turned out pretty good. He realized that he doesn't need to be afraid, and now he could ride with his friends again. Perfect. Now let's go look at the independent practice. So remember in the classroom, whenever we do independent practice, that means that you're working by yourself and trying to show yourself and prove that you are understanding the standard, okay? And the standard, again, if I go all the way up, is that we can ask and answer questions to demonstrate understanding of a text, okay? That just basically is fancy for can you ask and can you answer questions about a story that you read by understanding it, okay? And I know a lot of you can do that. I'd say everyone can do that, but we just have to focus. So I'm going to move on because you should have read this by yourself. And if I read it, we're going to stay here all day reading. Okay, number 1, based on details from paragraph 1, how would you describe Mrs. Olson? The correct answer is B. She likes learning to be fun. Okay, the details about the kazoo and the ear-shaped paper and the assignment all show that Mrs. Olson makes learning fun. Okay, now A is not correct because there's no details about following rules. I don't see any, that's not a detail. C is incorrect because books are not mentioned. She doesn't talk about books. And D is incorrect because even though she holds up a kazoo, that's not a detail about her liking music. That's just an instrument that she's using. Okay? Now, number 2, sorry. Same thing. First, answer part A and then answer part B because you need them to go together. Okay? Part A says, why is Jacob so upset about his homework assignment? Well, let's see. Why is Jacob so upset about his homework assignment? Let's see. A, He has other plans after school. Nope, there's no details in the story about him making other plans. They don't talk about him making other plans after school, so we're not going to pick that because that wouldn't make sense. B, he was already in a bad mood. It's wrong because the assignment is what puts him in a bad mood, right? He's not in a bad mood first. He looks at his homework and then he gets in a bad mood. C, he thinks there will not be enough noises on a farm is the correct answer. Okay, Jacob thinks that there won't be enough sounds on the farm. That's why he's upset about his homework. And D, he hates homework of any kind. That's not true because the story says only that he dislikes this assignment, okay? This homework assignment. They don't say he hates all homework. They said he hates this homework assignment. So that's why D is incorrect. So the correct answer for part A is C. Now in part B, you need to underline a sentence from these paragraphs that best supports part A. So we said part A was C. He thinks there would not be enough noises on a farm. And which sentence talks about that? Well, it says, later Jacob glared out of the school bus window. Not fair, he thought. How could he collect enough sounds on his family's farm? Bing, right there. Here it says, he thinks there will not be enough noises on a farm, and here it says he will not collect enough sounds on his family's farm. So there you have your answers and details. Okay, let's move on to number 3. Which detail explains why Jacob wished the animal crackers were real? A, she took the animal crackers down from the cupboard. B, Jacob rattled the cart and not many left. C, he crunched 2 tigers, 3 lions, and a seal. Well, all those 3 come from the same paragraph, and none of them are talking about the reason why Jacob wishes the crackers were alive. And now in those 3, he's just talking about he's eating them and how he's eating them. D would be the only one that makes sense. He would have plenty of noises to list, okay? D is the correct answer for number 3. Number 4, this question has 2 parts. First part, answer part A, and then part B, okay? Part A, why does Jacob need a lesson on collecting sounds? Well, A is incorrect because Jacob knows that what the assignment is, okay? A says he needs to learn to follow directions. He already knows what to do, so that's not it. B, he doesn't hear the sounds around him. Yeah, the entire story mentions sounds that Jacob doesn't seem to notice. They're talking about sounds and he doesn't get it. So the answer is B for part A. But I'm going to look at part C, C and see what it says. He cannot tell one sound from another. That's not true because there's no details about Jacob being confused. If he was confused, then that would be this one. He cannot tell one sound from another, but he's not confused. D, he doesn't listen to his teachers or parents. That's not true because he plans to do the assignment and he does what his mother's telling him to do. So that's not true either. Part B, well, this one's going to be a little bit tricky. There's going to be a lot of things that you could put. Animal sounds, what do you hear? Okay, wolfing, yipping, snuffling, crunching, cackling, mooing. Machine sounds, you could put tap, clatter, clink, rattle, chuffed, chugged. Go back into the story and find your answers for those 2. 5, read the sentence from paragraph 16, The lid on the tractor's smokestack rattled when it chuffed and chugged to a stop. All those sounds right there, those go up at the other box. Read the sentence for context clues. The word smokestack is made from 2 smaller words, smoke and stack. What does the whole word mean? A chimney is used for letting out smoke. The correct answer is A. 6, which noise finally made Jacob aware that the farm had plenty of sounds? Now you got to go back, okay? Figure out which is the first one. The correct answer is B, the noisy blue jays and the sparrows, okay? The noisy birds made it impossible for Jacob to listen for the humming of the bees. That's when he yelled, quiet! And he gave them a jolt and that made him realize he'd been missing sounds all along. 7, how does Jacob feel about his homework at the end of the story? Well, at the end of the story, he's eager to start doing it. Why? Because he realized that there are a lot of sounds around him. And we're going to do number 8, which is the last one. Short response. The writer provides a number of details to show that Jacob was missing the sounds around him. Use some of those details to demonstrate that Jacob just wasn't listening. So you need to go back and show me where and how was he not listening. For example, the entire story, he says, for example, even the short section about the dogs is filled with a lot of sounds. Okay, what happens when he's with the dogs that he doesn't hear them? All right, so please check your book and remember to send me a photo of what you did. Thank you so much, and I love you. Bye.